Welcome back to another video, and today we got our Week 15 NFL game predictions. We're here every single Wednesday making our weekly predictions for the NFL slate, so make sure you subscribe if you are new. Turn on the noties to make sure you don't miss whenever we upload. We're posting college basketball on every Monday, college football every Tuesdays, like I said, NFL every Wednesdays, and NBA every Thursdays. So if you are new, once again, please subscribe. But let's go ahead and look at the standings. I'm still in first. I've actually gotten quite a lead. I got 3 games up on second place from last week, so now the lead is to 4 games. Third place, creeping. This kid was all the way down at like 5th or 6th place at one point. He's made it all the way up to 3rd, only a game behind 2nd, and only 5 games behind me in 1st. Now I say this every week. This is the 5th year me and my friends have done this. I've won all 4 years so far, so I'm looking for the 5-peat. We're in a good spot right now. We're in 1st. We've been in 1st for quite a while, but it has been a pretty close gap, so we're definitely going to need to lock in, make sure we keep picking these games right. Let's go ahead and start with Thursday Night Football. We got 2 on the Falcons, 2 on the Buccaneers. Kind of surprising with the Falcons. I wouldn't be shocked if their coach is fired at, maybe soon, or at least by the end of the season. Raheem Morris just doesn't look like he's the guy. For the Buccaneers, I've been saying that it looks like they're going to make a run here to close out the season. They have a pretty favorable schedule down the stretch, and they're probably going to get a little bit of momentum heading into the playoffs. But when you look at the Bucs, they continue to struggle. They just lost to the Saints last week. I called that game, a free pick. The Bucs would win it easily. I was saying if you're, I don't understand how you could pick the Saints to win this game. I didn't mention those games are always pretty close, but I didn't expect the Saints to win it, obviously. So with the Bucs, they're sitting at 7-6. They're pretty much kind of in a tough spot now because the Panthers also 7-6, so they are tied currently ahead. Or at the top of the NFC South, so they're actually going to need to start winning some games. I think they will, and I think they do get a win here. But honestly, like Ibuka's been kind of lackluster the past few weeks. I know there's a chance Mike Evans comes back in. Bucky Irving did just come back. With the Falcons, it looks like Drake London's probably not going to play again. Maybe the Bucs getting some guys back. The Falcons still dealing with injuries. Tampa's at home. I feel like it's a must-win game. They got to get right. They got to eventually get one of these games that they should be winning to count in the win column. I think it does happen here Thursday night. Favored by 4.5. I like the Bucs to win this one pretty safely. With the next game here, Browns Bears. Probably is going to be a very low-scoring game. The wind chill for this game is projected to be like -7, -10 degrees. It's going to be freezing cold here in Chicago in Soldier Field. The Bears favored by 7.5, though. I think the Bears do win. I feel like the Bears are just levels out of this Browns team. Yes, their defense can probably keep it close. They've kept it close with pretty much every team that they've played, it feels like. So maybe it's close at halftime, but I see the Bears pulling away in this one late. Typically in cold games, you rely on your defense. You rely on the run game. The Bears' run game has been ridiculously good this season with DeAndre Swift, Kyle Monangai. And their defense, while sometimes it gives up a lot of yards, they force a lot of turnovers, so I would expect that to happen here. Maybe they can get to Shedeur. I will say Shedeur did play pretty well last week. They did lose, though, to the Titans, so that's not great. Their defense gave up 30-plus points to the Titans. I feel pretty safe that the Bears win this one, favored by 7.5, too. Like, it's a pretty big line here. I would expect the Bears to win pretty easily here. It's a nice bounce-back game. This is kind of a must-win game for the Bears. If they do lose this game, they probably will not make the playoffs because they have, besides this game, there are other final 3 games other than this one. So I guess, they have 4 total, but not counting this one, they have 3 other games. Those are all against current playoff teams in the NFC. So it's going to be pretty tough for the Bears. And against the Packers, if they play like they did in the second half against the Packers the whole game, they'd probably end up beating the Packers, and they'd be sitting at 10-3 at the top of the NFC still. So the Bears are a really good team. I think they're levels ahead of this team, and I think the Bears are legit. After that Packers game, I know they didn't win, but after the past 2 weeks against the Eagles and the Packers, I'm ready to say the Bears are for real. I'm going to take the Bears at home here to take care of business. We get a rematch of a game from 2 weeks ago that they played on Thanksgiving, the Ravens and the Bengals. The Ravens currently favored by 2.5 in this one. Lamar, though, just doesn't look the same. Against the Bengals the first time, I think he had like 4 or 5 turnovers, or at least the Ravens in general. The Bengals defense played like the game of their lives against the Ravens, and the Ravens were kind of still in it for a while. I do expect the Ravens to clean that up, and the Ravens did just lose a game to the Steelers, so they're no longer at the top of the AFC North, so they're going to have to get some of these wins. The Bengals not really playing for anything at this point. T. Higgins looks like is going to be out. I'll take the Ravens to get this one. I don't see the Bengals sweeping the Ravens. I'd say they probably split. So I'll go with the Ravens here. Hopefully, they can just rely on Derrick Henry to kind of run all over this Bengals team, which I think they should. Like the Bengals defense, even though they played really well against the Ravens the first time around, was that the Bengals defense being good, or was that just the Ravens offensive struggles kind of playing into their hand? I don't know. But like I said, I think Derrick Henry really gets going. Maybe they don't have to rely on Lamar as much because something just doesn't look right with him right now. I don't know what it is. Maybe he can get back on track here, but I do think the Ravens win this game. It is tough, though, that it is in Cincy, but the Bengals deal with a lot of injuries. I like the Ravens. The Chargers and the Chiefs, there's a whole lot of games with two huge implications, huge playoff implications between two playoff teams, between two top tier playoff teams. Like there's so many games like that this week. And this one's pretty big. An AFC West matchup here. The Chargers sitting at 9-4, coming off the Monday night win over the Eagles. Now you do wonder how much does that affect them, the short week, playing in overtime on Monday night against the Eagles. Very physical, very tough team. They won by 3 points. Very low scoring game. How much does that affect them? They're going to have to go to Arrowhead, play the Chiefs, who are desperate for a win. The Chiefs just come off a kind of embarrassing loss to the Texans, only putting up 10 points. We'll get to the Texans. Their defense is ridiculous, but wasn't a great look. The defense, though, did play pretty well, holding the Texans to 20 points. With the Chargers, they're a really good team as well. Hampton finally came back in, but it seems like every week, they just keep getting injuries to their O-line. That does concern me. I know Herbert, he was injured, but he did play, so how much does that affect them? I think the Chiefs get a win at home. They're favored by 5.5. That's honestly higher than I thought. I do think the Chargers at this point have looked like the better team. I'm just picking the Chiefs. I'm giving them one last chance. With the Chiefs, I've picked them the past few weeks, and they've kind of let me down. I think I picked them against the Cowboys. I picked them last week against the Texans, just saying it was a must-win game. And the Chiefs are going to have a very uphill battle if they want to even get into the AFC playoffs. Now, if they do get in there as a wildcard team, maybe the 7 seed, if they can sneak in, they are dangerous just because it is Patrick Mahomes, it is the Chiefs, Andy Reid. We know what they can do, but it's the fact that they may not even be able to get in there at that point. There's still definitely a chance, and winning this game would help them a whole lot, but they are going to have to win this game. I stand by this. I know I said this last week. If they lost last week to the Texans, it would be very hard for them to get in. I think if they lose this week, they probably won't get in, so a big difference there. So I think this is even more of a must-win game than it was last week, so I do think the Chiefs win it at home in Arrowhead. Favored by 5.5 too. Pretty surprising there. I think the Chiefs go out, get this one because they need to. An AFC East matchup against two top-tier teams. The Bills at 9-4, the Patriots at 11-2. The Patriots are on a 10-game win streak right now. Drake May's balling out. The defense is playing great. Travion Henderson finally getting going. The Patriots are clicking on all cylinders right now, and they just came off a bye week, so they're going to be pretty well rested. With the Bills at 9-4, kind of the same thing. They had a comeback win last week against the Bengals. The Bills have been playing a lot better. I know they're a little inconsistent at times. The defense definitely looks kind of iffy. Maybe the Patriots can take advantage of that. What it comes down to, though, I just trust Josh Allen at this point more than Drake May. I know Drake May's looks so good, but I'm going to take the Bills. I'm going to take Josh Allen. I think this game's going to come down to the very end. I think it's going to be kind of a more high-scoring game, very close game all the way throughout. But who do I trust more to make the big plays? I know Drake May's playing at that level right now, but I still trust Josh Allen more just because I've seen it more. He's more experienced. So I'm going to take the Bills and Josh Allen to get it done. Maybe James Cook can get going in this one. Maybe the Bills defense can, I don't know. Maybe they can force, if they can force some turnovers, that would be great. With the Patriots, kind of same thing. If they can force some turnovers, this is anyone's game. This is essentially a pick 'em. Buffalo's favored by 1.5, even with it being in New England, which is interesting. So keep your eye on this game. It's a huge game for AFC seeding. It's just going to be a great game. Two of the best teams in the league going head to head. You love to see that. These are not two of the best teams in the league going head to head. The 3-10 Commanders versus the 2-11 Giants. This game essentially means nothing except for draft order. The Giants actually favored by 2.5 at home. Dart's going to come back in. He's a very fun player to watch. They've got some fun receivers to watch as well. Wan'Dale Robinson's been pretty good. Darius Slayton as well. I believe their rookie tight end Theo Johnson has been doing pretty well for himself. The Commanders, I mean, also have some weapons offensively. Looks like it's going to be Mariota. Jane Daniels has been ruled out for this game. He came back last week, then he got taken out. Very interesting situation there. But with the Commanders, you know, I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job of reading the Commanders. I picked them to well, I didn't pick them. I picked the Broncos to win against the Commanders. But the Commanders were right there. They could have won it. It came down to a 2-point conversion in overtime. They didn't get it, so they lost very close. Broncos are a great team. Then last week, everyone was kind of on the Commanders against the Vikings. The Vikings looked so bad. The Commanders looked so good against the Broncos. I was kind of the only one, I believe, on the Vikings last week, and I was right. The Vikings defense is playing ridiculous right now, and the Commanders get shut out. Didn't expect that, but I did expect the Vikings to win. Now with this one, everyone's kind of back on the Giants because the Commanders look so bad this week. It's like back and forth with Commanders. I actually think Washington wins this game. I think Mariota's played very well at times this season. He's going to get a full week of practice with the ones. He's going to get, you know, all the reps as the starter, and I think he'll be ready to go. Like I said, he's not really necessarily played all that bad at certain points in the season, so I do think Washington beats the Giants. This was the team that was in the NFC Championship last year. Like, don't forget, I know they're 3-10. It's a very different team at this point in the season than it was last year, but there's still like a lot of similar pieces there. I do think the Commanders beat the Giants, and honestly, it probably benefits the Giants if they lose this one, just because they get a better draft pick. Raiders Eagles. Eagles favored by 11.5. I actually wouldn't be shocked if the Raiders cover that. I'd expect this to be a very low scoring sloppy game, but I'll take the Eagles at home. It's the over-under's 38.5. I wouldn't be shocked if that hit the under. And honestly, with that, I don't know if the Eagles can cover the 11.5. I mean, like, this offense just looks so bad. Jalen Hurts threw 4 picks on Monday night, and he had a fumble. I know that was kind of, you know, you could say he had 5 turnovers. I know 2 of those were kind of on the same play. So we'll go. I mean, 4 turnovers is still 4 turnovers. That's really bad. A.J. Brown's been doing pretty well, though, the past few weeks. Saquon finally had the big run. We were waiting for that. We were saying he hadn't had an explosive play. Well, there it was. He did finally get one. But with the Eagles, like, the offense just doesn't look right. The defense been playing well, but it just hasn't translated to them winning some of these games. They're now 8-5. I said this last week. This reminds me of that Eagles team that started off the season so well, kind of, you know, walked their way into the playoffs, lost like 4 of their last 5 of their last 6, something like that. They played the Bucks in the first round as the 5 seed. Everyone was giving them the benefit of the doubt because they started the season so well, and then the Bucks blew them out in the playoffs. I could see that honestly happening for this Eagles team. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if this Eagles team got first rounded. I don't think they're playing that good, especially offensively. Jalen Hurts, the play calling, none of it looks right, but I do think the defense will be enough to get them this win. I'm not going to pick against an 11.5 point favorite. I'm just going to not. Like, the Raiders are so bad. I don't think they're going to be able to score at all on this Eagles defense, and I think the Eagles at home, they know they need to win this game, and I think they will. The Jets-Jaguars, kind of same thing. The Jaguars just beat up on the Colts last week. That was a huge game for both teams. The Jaguars now have sole possession of the AFC South at 9-4. They're at the top, and they're 13.5 point favorites. In no world am I going to pick the Jets to win this one. Whether it's Fields, Tyrod Taylor, Brady Cook was in last week. Like, doesn't matter who it is. The Jaguars are going to win. They're probably going to force a lot of turnovers because that's what their defense does. And yeah, they're going to win this game pretty easily here. Not much to say on that one. Cardinals-Texans, kind of same thing. Like, the Cardinals, I guess, have a better chance than the Jets. Obviously, the Cardinals can have some playmakers, can make some plays. We'll see if Marv comes back in. Like, Trey McBride's great. Michael Wilson has been balling out. Jacoby Brissett, you know, he's been putting up some numbers. And this Cardinals defense is kind of sneaky. So I wouldn't be shocked if the Cardinals, like, go out and keep this game close. I wouldn't actually be shocked if the Cardinals find a way to win this game. This feels like a very Cardinals game to win, if that makes sense. The Texans coming off the big win. Maybe the Cardinals can catch them sleeping. But Houston at 9.5 at home, 9.5 point favorites. This defense is the best in the league by far. They held the Chiefs to 10 points last week. They're rushing 3 against 5, and they're getting to the quarterback. They're winning at the line of scrimmage. They're winning in the secondary, in coverage. Like, this defense just has no holes anywhere. It's ridiculous how good this defense is. You got defenses like the Broncos, like the Seahawks, like the Eagles, even like Packers. There's so many good defenses, and the Texans defense is like clearly the best defense in the league. And I realized that the other day. I was like, wow, there really is so many good defenses this year. the Texans have the best one. It's ridiculous how good their defense is. I'll take the Texans at home here. The defense can legitimately just win them any game. That's why they're so scared to play if you get them in the playoffs. And if C.J. Stroud ever does return to his rookie season form, like, this team could potentially make a Super Bowl. Like, I'm not even kidding. This defense is that good. So I'll take the Texans at home here. What a game we have here in Denver. I'm surprised nobody is taking the Broncos in this one. The Packers actually favored by 2.5, but the Broncos at home, nobody's taking them with the altitude. Sadly, I don't have the strength to do it. The Broncos just kind of squeak by. Like, I'm not saying they're a bad team. They have one of the best defenses in the league. They have one of the Sean Payton is a great coach, one of the better coaches in the league. And the offense isn't bad, don't get me wrong. R.J. Harvey's been playing great. Bo Nix has been doing solid. Sutton. They got a lot of weapons. Troy Franklin, like, a lot of guys, a lot of weapons, a lot of sneaky weapons on that offense. But the defense especially is so good. PS2, we know how good he is in coverage. He won the DPOI last year. Nick Bonito, some of these edge rushers they have, like, it's a really stacked defense. And it is in the altitude in Denver. That's going to play a role, I would believe. So the Broncos could very well win this game. But it's the fact that they've been squeaking by some of these, like, lackluster teams. It's like, I feel like they've got to be due. The Packers just beat the Bears last week, and they were airing it out. We haven't really seen that from the Packers, but they were throwing deep balls for touchdowns. Like, it was crazy. The Packers showed a lot of layers offensively. That's going to be a tough game plan, even for how good this Denver Broncos defense is. I think, the Broncos may end up even selling out to stop those big plays because Christian Watson coming back, and he's been a touchdown machine recently. Jaden Reed finally came back. They still got Romeo Doubs. Matthew Golden's a speed threat. Like, they got a lot of just sneaky options offensively, and I feel like the Broncos may just end up, the Packers may just end up utilizing Josh Jacobs the whole game and just running it down their throat. Like, the Packers just put all this out about how they can air it out, throw deep balls, and they still probably will try to do that some. I don't know why they would go away from it with the fact that it was working so well against the Bears, but I think the Packers may just lean on Josh Jacobs here and kind of just like I don't want to say the Broncos forget about it, but maybe they game plan so much for stopping those big plays, deep balls, that they forget to stop Josh Jacobs. That I could see happening. And I think this Packers defense is pretty close to the Broncos defense. Maybe I'd still say the Broncos defense is better, but they are very close. Like, the Packers defense is one of the best in the league as well. And whose offense do I trust more? Probably the Packers. So I'll take the Packers, even though it is on the road here, but this is essentially a 50-50 game. Again, I'm so surprised nobody is taking the Broncos at home here. This is a fun one. We had two defenses going head-to-head. This is two high-caliber offenses. The over-under in this game is 55.5, and I wouldn't be shocked if it hit the over. I really wouldn't. The Lions put up 40-plus points last week. The Rams have been probably the best offense all season. Stafford might win MVP. They got Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Kyron Williams, Blake Corum. Both of those guys were getting going last week. Both had, I want to say, pretty big runs. I think they both had touchdowns as well. The Rams, though, still favored by 5.5 at home. This is going to be a fun one. What it comes down to is, though, the Lions' defense is very banged up. Brian Branch went down last week. He's not going to play, it sounds like. The Rams' defense is really solid. Like, these are two great teams in the NFC. Both probably top 5, maybe top 3 offenses in the league. Defensively, both healthy. I mean, the Lions' defense, when healthy, is very, very good. The Rams' defense, though, is relatively healthy right now, and I'm not sure if they have too many guys out. And I think the Rams' defense at this point in the season has been playing better. They're also at home. I'm going to take the Rams. I've said this before. I think the Rams may be my team that I picked to win the Super Bowl. That's how good they've been playing. I do love the Lions, and the Lions may be getting hot right now. I may have just seen that with them being the Cowboys the way they did on Thursday night. They also have the long week, which does help. But I'm still going to go with the Rams at home. But if the Lions win this game, it's going to be hard for me not to pick the Lions in the future. They could be getting hot right now, but I'm still going to trust the Rams. This is the team that I've said is going to win the Super Bowl for the past, I want to say, 2 months now. It's been a while. So I'll trust the Rams here. Panthers, Saints, pretty tough NFC South game. The Panthers actually only favored by 2.5. That surprised me a lot. I'm going to take the Panthers to win this one pretty easily there. Maybe they're saying maybe they come out sleeping. I guess, off the bye, the Saints just beat the Buccaneers. Maybe that's what this is, but I don't know. The Panthers beat the Rams. the Panthers have gotten some good wins. Bryce Young has been playing well. Ted McMillan looks like he's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. The defense has been solid. I think the Panthers are the much better team here, so I don't understand why that line is the way it is. I'm going to take the Panthers pretty easily here. Maybe I'm just a Saints hater, though, because I said this last week and the Saints beat the Bucs. I don't know, though. Niners, Titans. The Titans did just get a win last week. They beat the Browns. They put up 30-plus points. Cam Ward, a lot of these young guys offensively have been playing better. Tony Pollard was balling out last week against the Browns, which is pretty crazy because the Browns' defense, especially their run defense, has been so good all season. And the Titans put up 30-plus on them. Like, it was pretty impressive the way they did that. I don't see the Titans winning twice in a row, especially not against as good of a team as the Niners are. They're favored by 12.5 at home. This should be a pretty easy win here. The Niners are a really good team, really talented. I would not want to play them right now, especially in San Fran. The Titans aren't going to win 2 in a row. Going on the road to the Niners, especially, that's just not going to happen. I'll take the Niners. Colts, Seahawks. The big storyline here is Phillip Rivers coming back in. He's, 44 years old? He's got, 10 kids. I think he's got a grandchild. He hasn't played since 2020. He comes back in for the Colts. Will he start? Will it be Riley Leonard? Because it sounds like maybe Riley Leonard plays. Whoever it is, I'm taking the Seahawks. I think their defense is just too good. Maybe it's a tough game plan if it is Phillip Rivers, if it is Riley Leonard. Neither of these guys, especially Phillip Rivers, haven't really been on tape, so maybe that's tough. But I think the Seahawks defense is too good either way. Favored by 13.5. I actually wouldn't be shocked if the Colts did cover that, just because I think it could be sneaky. But if it is just Riley Leonard out there, the Colts probably won't be able to score that much. Maybe they lean on Jonathan Taylor, but I think the Seahawks defense probably just sells out to stop him in the first place. And I think JSN probably just gets going again. I think the Seahawks win here pretty easily. We got the Sunday night game here, the Vikings and the Cowboys. The Vikings tend to not play well on primetime, but this defense for the Vikings is getting hot right now. They are playing out of their minds the past 2 to 3 weeks. They just, they kept them in the Seahawks game the other week. Even with, the offense not being able to move the ball at all, the offense turned it over so many times. The Vikings defense kept them alive in that game for so long. And then last week, the Vikings win 31-0. They shut out the Commanders. It was pretty impressive. It's going to be hard to shut out. They're obviously not going to shut out the Cowboys. It's going to be hard to shut down the Cowboys offense the way the defense has been playing the past 2 weeks. But I would have been past them. They have been playing that good the past few weeks here. Maybe that continues. I'd expect the Cowboys to get the win at home here, though, in prime time. Like I said, the Vikings tend to not play well in prime time. It'll be interesting to see if CeeDee Lamb plays in this one. It looks like he got a concussion Thursday night, but it is 10 days, so maybe there's a chance. I don't know. I'm kind of holding out hope for my fantasy team here. It is playoffs now, so being without him, him and A-Chain are my 2 best players. A-Chain also may be beat up. We'll talk about that in a second, but if I have neither of those guys, I'm pretty much cooked. But so I'd hope he plays. I'm leaning towards him not playing. Even still, though, I think the Cowboys make enough plays offensively. I don't know. I don't think the Vikings have enough offensively to keep up. Maybe their defense can hold them in this one. I would expect this game to be close, but it's in AT&T Stadium in Dallas in primetime. I like the Cowboys to get a win at home. And then for the Monday night game, Dolphins-Steelers, it's a tough one here. The Dolphins are kind of on a little win streak right now. I think they've won 3-4 games, maybe 5 games in a row. They've been doing really solid. Actually, I don't think it's 5, but I think it's a 4-game win streak. Steelers coming off a big win against the Ravens, a division rival. It's in Pittsburgh. It's going to be a tough one here. If A-Chain plays, I think it could be interesting. I think he will play because this is kind of a big game for the Dolphins. This is a team that's 1 game ahead of them right now in the AFC, so this is a huge win if they can get it. So I'd assume they'd have all hands on deck here. It is going to be pretty cold, though, in Pittsburgh, and we've seen the Dolphins struggle offensively in the cold especially, but the Dolphins' defense has been playing very well, so I could see them keeping them in this game with the Steelers, but I think the weather just benefits the Steelers too much. I think the Steelers, coming off that win against the Ravens, I think they're playing too well right now. I think they get the win at home. Favored by 3. I think it's going to be a close game, maybe more low scoring than you'd think, but I do think the Steelers get it at home Monday night, continue to roll. But that's going to do it for the Week 15 NFL game predictions. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure you're going on there, leave a like, subscribe. If you're new, turn on the noties to make sure you don't miss whenever we post. We're posting college basketball on Mondays, college football on Tuesdays, NFL on Wednesdays, and NBA on Thursdays every single week. So make sure you subscribe. Once again, if you're new, comment down below what you agree, what you disagree about my picks. Love the debate down there. With all that being said, thank you so much for watching. That is going to do it. And yeah, hopefully, I'm not sure if I'll have an NBA video tomorrow. I'm gonna try to. We'll see. But if so, if not, either way, just thank you guys for the support. Wanted to say that on the recent videos. And yeah, that's gonna do it. Thank you so much for watching this one.